Welcome back to Ride JBI. This is JB. Today we finished this custom build JBI Spec WP XACT Pro 6500 kit. These forks are from a 2022 GasGas EX300. These forks were set up to our JBI Suspension Open Desert Off-Road Spec. Previously, for this same customer, we built a set of JBI Spec WP to KYB converted forks, and he really liked those, and that he requested to have his WP XACT Pro inserts that we were doing built to a spec as similar as possible. Originally, we were going to do the KYBs set up for one type of off-road racing, and then these ones for a different style of riding. But the customer ended up loving the KYB setup. We did so much for him. He wanted to see what the WP XACT 65 Pro offering would feel like set up for the same type and style of riding. So that is what we have here, and we're excited to get some feedback from this customer after he gets a chance to test these two settings or two setups back to back. For the custom coatings, we did our JBI Cerakote gloss black on the lower lugs. The inner tubes got our JBI DLC coat, and for the upper fork tubes, it is the JBI Kashima coat. Now, it's important to remember and or point out, because it's commonly misunderstood, but the reason for the Kashima coat on the upper tube, so the upper tube here, is to improve the surface finish on the inside of the outer tube, because that is where the bushing from our inner tube rides against or rubs against, is on the inside of this outer tube. So that's the contact point between the bushing, we call it the inner bushing, between the inner tube and outer tube. So the whole point of this coating is to improve that surface finish, so that way that contact surface can slide easier and also have less wear compared to the OEM coating. The entire tube gets treated, so the byproduct of that is that also the outside gets the brown coating as well. Now, we do offer a JBI Fukushima coat, and that is a similar brown or bronze anodized that we offer, where only the outside of the fork tube is treated. So in that case, it's purely aesthetic. The reason we offer that is, one, it's a little bit cheaper, the turnaround time is a little bit lower, and a lot of people are only after the aesthetic. But that's also why I wanted to share the whole reason for the Kashima coating is not just aesthetic, it's more for actually improving the surface. Just like the DLC improves the surface of our inner tube. We can't apply the same coating to both because they are different materials. Our inner tube is steel with a chrome coating, so the DLC is applied on top of that chrome coating. And the upper tube is made out of aluminum, so different materials require different processing when it comes to the coating types that they can be applied to. Another reason we offer the Fukushima coat is because the Kashima coat company will only accept fork tubes that are in brand new condition. They would not accept any tubes that have been used, ridden, or show any signs of wear. And a lot of the builds that we do here, the bikes already have a little bit of ride time on them, or the build is a refurbish. So there definitely is some pitting, scratching, and scars, and we are refurbishing the suspension back to a new or like new state. So it's nice to have the Fukushima coat as an option for people that still want to recoat their upper tubes and get a similar look as the Kashima coat. Now, part of our JBI suspension spec setups on these WP XACT Pros is, of course, revalving the internals of the XACT Pro cartridge system. I have a few videos on our YouTube channel that detail this cartridge system. We compare it to the WP cone valve cartridge system and also the Explorer Pro, showing the very minor differences between them all, and more importantly, the commonalities. But yes, during that revalve, we exchange out a few hard parts as well. One of the key components that we put in is our JBI titanium subvalve. This is a component that makes the compression adjuster more effective. That'd be this clicker right here because it interfaces with that. It also gives the fork improved low-speed compression damping. Think of that as fork holdup during aggressive riding. It makes the forks harder to make them feel overly soft or overly divey. That's why it's important to have good low-speed compression. Now, the key is not to have too much, or else the forks become just too stiff and they just don't have a good feel at all. But that's one of the key components that we put in. WP started utilizing that in 2023 in their WP XACT Pro 7548 forks. But up until then, meaning from 2002 and back, they have never utilized a subvalve in any of their WP XACT Pro cartridge systems in terms of what they provide to the public. Another item we do is for the off-road setups is we change out the pressure spring. Here you can see we have our JBI 12 Newton pressure spring. We purposely have it color-coded blue. It's an easy way to look at the spring and identify the spring rate that it is. We will be having some more spring rates coming out as well. And those, of course, will be in different colors. Again, the whole reason for the coloring is to make it easy to look at and identify what spring rate is inside the cartridge, especially when the cartridge is already assembled and you're just trying to get a quick glance at what may be inside of there without having to take it all the way apart. And we have a complete guide on Ride JBI, as in what pressure spring color refers to what spring rate. As of right now, we're doing all the WP springs. After that, we'll work our way to some of the KYB and Showa offerings. This WP XACT Pro 6500 kits and also WP Explorer Pro 6500 kits have gotten really popular the last 2 years, and rightfully so. They're providing us with some really good hardware and some really good baseline settings to even start with. And when we are provided with such a good starting platform, after we've spent additional time testing, tuning, and further developing settings, you get some forks that already performed very well, and now they perform even better. The WP XACT Pro cartridge system is well known for its strong bottoming attributes, making it hard to bottom out. So one of our main focuses when revalving this kit is really getting the forks as plush and comfortable and smooth as possible while utilizing that strong bottoming that it has. In the past, a common feedback we got from riders about their cone fork setups or WP XACT Pros, not our setups, but from their experience, was that either the suspension was overly too soft and bottomed out, or it was overly too stiff and not comfortable to ride. It seemed like they had a hard time finding that middle ground. And to be honest, it took us a little while to get some good settings as well that had that middle ground. But we're really pumped with the settings that we have come up with. We've got a really good blend of plushness, comfort, hold up, and bottoming resistance. And the only way to come up with that, man, is testing, testing, testing. A lot of planes going over us today. Sorry about the extra noise in the background. So besides this JBI spec, open desert off-road spec, we have tested, tuned, and developed many other suspension settings for these WP XACT Pro 6500 kits, WP Explorer Pro 6500 kits, and WP Cone Valve and XACT Pro 7548 forks. Essentially, if it's a WP XACT Pro damping system, we've got some settings for it. We have also tested, tuned, and developed settings for all the other various types of off-road riding. We also have setups for motocross, supercross, arena cross, and freestyle motocross. If you'd like Ride JBI to do your suspension, please give us a call or send us an email. We'll discuss the year, make, model bike that you have, what options are available. Then after going over all that together, we will figure out which setup is most advantageous for you. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.